Okay, so just in case for any student who's not here in the class, you can always refer back to the videos to check where are we, what we're doing, and so on. So we're going to start Unit 5, which is the novel. And we will be working like alternating between the media training that you need to be able to. Mainly, you will be doing some readings on the social media, some articles, newspaper articles, and then you will be summarizing them and then analyze and summarize and then present. You probably be asked to create some articles too, or a counter back article. Let's say there is one article pro something, and you have to provide a point of view that is contradictory or the opposite. So it will vary as per using the media as well as the novel. So we are going to, and also I talked about the culminating activity, and you and Yusuf, you preferred to design a campaign for certain awareness, to raise awareness in the society. I chose for you breast cancer. You are also able to choose the topic. I don't mind. The elements that you have to convey is to read articles, write an essay to summarize what the findings, and then you create media means. It could be a film, it could be a poster, and it could be a PowerPoint, or a bit of this and a bit of that. I just give you an idea about the culminating activity. We will be posting the activity soon. But before we have to get the approval from the school administration. Okay. For now, we're going to start the new unit, which is about a novel. I'm gonna let you watch a video that is a summary of the story. This unit, you will be reading the story, some of it oral reading, loud reading, because this is part of your evaluation. But for now, it's the first class for the novel. So I'm going to let you watch the film. It's a bit, I think it's a bit maybe 6 or 7 minutes. You will watch the summary, get to know about the story, and then you will have a short activity, an introductory activity to do on as a class activity. So yeah, get started. Let me place the activity and prepare the video. You know what? We can watch the video and then give you a short break for you to watch the to see the activity that we will do in the class. All right, clear? Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, so Safa is always there, always paying attention, always present. Thank you so much for your hard work. Okay, well, just let me share. Okay, share sound.
At the end of this episode, you will learn everything about Ernest Hemingway's famous novella, The Old Man and the Sea. Ernest Hemingway wrote The Old Man and the Sea in 1951 in Cuba and published it 1 year later. It is considered to be one of Hemingway's best works, which brought him a Nobel Prize in Literature in 1954. Hemingway himself praised the book and called it the personification of what he always desired to create. The Old Man and the Sea, at its heart, is the story of a man at odds with his weaknesses, and it is not until he meets a worthy opponent that he can get the true measure of his strength. The main character, Santiago, has many great qualities that make him a likable hero. His respect and appreciation for his opponent, the great fish, his love for nature, his disarming simplicity, and his gratitude towards what he has been given, regardless of how little it might be, rise the reader's interest and make them root for him in his quest to conquer his bad luck. The main themes of The Old Man and the Sea are perseverance, suffering, pride, friendship, destiny, luck, and respect. The story of The Old Man and the Sea revolves around a poor Cuban fisherman named Santiago, who is struck by bad luck and has become the subject of his fellow fishermen's ridicule. When the story starts, Santiago has not fished anything for 84 days and has been returning empty-handed from the sea every day. One day, his apprentice, a boy named Manolin, who had earlier left Santiago to work with other more successful fishermen at the behest of his parents, returns to him and explains that his father forced him to leave his company because he lacks faith. Manolin then lets the old man know that he wishes to work with him again. When they stop at a local cafe, the other fishermen make fun of Santiago. Manolin reminds him of the many years that they fished successfully together and insists to give him fresh bait for fishing. Santiago accepts the bait and tells his apprentice that he has decided to journey a long distance away from the shore tomorrow. At night, and after eating the food that a local restaurateur gifts Santiago and speaking enthusiastically about the best baseball players of all time, Manolin tells Santiago that he believes he is the greatest fisherman ever and he should not give up. While sleeping, Santiago has a recurring dream about lion cubs playing on a beach in Africa, a scene that he witnessed from the deck of a ship when he was younger. In the morning, and after saying goodbye to Manolin, Santiago rows away from the shore and goes far into the heart of the sea. The old fisherman casts his first line and catches an insignificant little fish, which he keeps hoping to use as bait later. After a few hours of drifting away, Santiago realizes that he is so far away from the shoreline that he cannot see it anymore. At this moment, from the movements of his fishing equipment, he understands that a massive marlin is circling his boat. Hopeful that his unlucky days have finally come to an end, and optimistic about the size of his possible catch, he casts a new fishing line. The fish plays around the bait for a little while and then suddenly takes it. To Santiago's surprise, the marlin is so massive that he can't pull it inside his boat. At this moment, the fish suddenly drags Santiago's boat further into the ocean, and the old man, hoping to tire it out, holds fast to his fishing line. The great marlin pulls the skiff for the entire night. After a few hours of tiresome struggle, Santiago realizes that he is so far away from Havana that he cannot see the city lights anymore. The sun rises and the fish keeps dragging the boat, and the old man keeps hanging on to the fishing line. The next morning, Santiago realizes that the fish is swimming at a shallower depth. He prays to God to make the fish jump out of the water to fill its air bladders so it won't sink deep and die. He then tells the fish that he loves it, but he promises to defeat it before the day ends. After a sweet conversation with a little bird that lands on his fishing line and contemplating his place in the vastness of the sea, Santiago realizes that his left hand has gone numb from holding on to the fishing line. As he waits for the cramp to go away, he cuts open the small fish that he had caught earlier and eats it. While eating, he wishes that he could feed the marlin and calls the fish his brother. Santiago wishes his apprentice was there to help him. He tells himself that he is disgusted with his weakness and how his hand has betrayed him. He then makes peace with his problem and accepts that he has been abusing his hand by forcing it into labor all night. Right at this moment, the fish leaps out of the water and Santiago sees it in its entirety for the first time. The marlin is massive. It is twice the size of the fisherman's boat, and it has a long sword which Santiago likens to a sharp rapier and a baseball bat. The fisherman knows that if the fish realizes how strong it is, it could break the line at any moment. So he vows to not allow the fish to know of its strength and keep the pressure on the line. Santiago says to himself that the marlin is bigger than any fish that he has ever seen or heard of, and that he is certain his hand's numbness will go away because now his hands and the fish are brothers. He then pledges to make a pilgrimage to the Virgin of Cobre if he could successfully defeat the fish. A few hours later, the cramp finally lets go of Santiago's hand. While fighting fatigue, he remembers the time in his youth when he was an arm wrestling champion, particularly when he arm wrestled a strong opponent for an entire day and defeated him. At this moment, a plane flies above his head, and the old fisherman wonders what it would feel like to fly over the sea. At night, while marveling at the vastness of the universe, Santiago thinks of the stars as his distant friends. He then once again calls the marlin his friend too, and regrets that he has to kill it. He then concludes that the people who will eat the fish are not worthy of it. The fisherman then decides to rest. He first positions his body against the line to not lose it, and then falls asleep. While sleeping, he dreams of fish in their mating season, his bed at home, and lion cubs in Africa again. Suddenly, the fish pulls the line and jumps out of the water. Santiago tugs the line back and cuts his hands. In the morning, and after spending the whole night struggling to hold the line, the old fisherman realizes that the fish is about to turn and that his final battle with the marlin is about to start. What ensues is a long battle between the old man and the giant fish. After many pleas to God for help, Santiago finally kills the fish with his harpoon. After resting for a bit, the old fisherman straps the giant marlin to his skiff with fishing lines and begins his journey back home. A few minutes later, a shark smelling the fish's blood in the water chases Santiago's boat and bites at the marlin's tail. The fisherman prepares his harpoon again and kills the shark with it, but in the process loses his harpoon. Santiago knows that there will be more sharks in the way, so he attaches his knife to one of the oars and makes a spear out of it. A couple of hours later, two other sharks arrive to eat the fish, but Santiago kills both of them. When the fourth shark attacks his boat, Santiago loses his knife after stabbing it, which makes him wonder if he should give up and admit that it will be impossible to get the fish home. But he quickly reminds himself that a man can be destroyed but not defeated, and forces himself to do anything in his power to save his great catch and return home a proud fisherman. At sunset, two more sharks attack the fish. The sharks each take a bite, but they swim away when the fisherman hits them on the head. At first, Santiago is successful in repelling the attacks, but a few minutes later the sharks show up again. At this point, the old man realizes he can't do much against them empty-handed, and decides to not worry about the fish anymore and just row as fast as he can towards home, hoping to save at least half of the marlin. A few hours later, and right when Santiago sees Havana's lights, the sharks show up again. The fisherman tries his best to hit them with the oars, but he can't see in the dark. Finally, when Santiago hits one of them with the splintered end of his oar, and only when they eat most of the fish do the sharks swim away and leave the old man alone. Santiago, who has been injured, spits in the water and tells the sharks to taste his blood, to think that they have killed a man. As he gets closer to the shore, he asks himself what defeated him, and concludes that nothing truly beats him. He journeyed too far in the sea, and the sea is a place with both friends and enemies. When Santiago finally arrives at the beach, there is no one there. He single-handedly pulls the marlin's skeleton out of the water. The next morning, Santiago's apprentice Manolin shows up at his shack. He tells him that they sent out a search party after him, and Santiago tells him that he was beaten by the sharks. Manolin tells Santiago that he doesn't care what his parents say anymore, and he will join him on his next fishing trip. During the day, other fishermen and tourists gather to see the skeleton of the fish, and some of them even mistake it for a shark's. In the end, Santiago regains his respect among his peers and looks forward to his next adventure at sea.
Right? So we got an idea now about the film that we got some idea about the novel, and I would like you to get some information. Let me place it on the Google Classroom. Just let us have a look at the class activity. All right, do you have any questions before we continue? Let me stop recording. Any questions, anyone? We have somebody. Yes, so for the couple of minutes we watched the video, which is giving you a summary of Old Man and the Sea. I don't want to tell you who is the author because it's part of your class activity. So the class activity is done here on the Google Classroom, as you can see. This is the link for the video if you wanted to watch it one more time or at your free time, be welcome to do that. I was just telling you guys that yeah, it is a good way to understand a literary work by watching it changed into a movie or a play, played on a stage. However, the reading is absolutely a different skill and absolutely a different enjoyment because you have no barriers, no third party between you and the author. Okay, you just get involved with the characters. So this is all about the video. Now, what are you going to search before reading? As I was telling Safa in the class, that you will be entitled to read few pages of the novel. So I would like you please to download the actual script from the internet and be ready for me to ask you to read anytime, okay? But for now, for today, I just want you to get an idea about the book. So you will be working on why is Old Man and the Sea called a novella? And you need to tell me the summary of Old Man and the Sea. You just watched the film, and I don't want the exact copy of the film. What you can get from the online resources. What is it about? What are the most important themes the novel or the book is talking about, and so on. What is the story? Who are the characters? And by the way, it's a very short one compared to big novels, and maybe it's easy for you to get. I just want to tell you, I have been to Cuba and I visited the place or the cafe where the author used to write his books. And this book in particular, I knew where he wrote it. Maybe later when we discuss it, I can share some pictures with you. Okay, so this is the beginning of intro to the book. And who is the author? And I want you please not just write the name of the author, but also I want you to write a brief bio about the author. Where is he from? In which year he was born? When did he die? What is his style of writing? Characteristics of his writing in general. Why did he write this book? What was his motive? And so on. And then this part is to prepare you, to train you for the culminating activity. Remember when I asked you to be ready to read some articles concerning any topic. I know that both of you wanted to do the campaign. However, it's another skill that we want you high school students to be trained at, which is the research and looking for pros and cons. So you need to find two articles providing literary criticism of the book. One, definitely, one is for, one is against. And you have to tell me who is the writer in both cases, who is for, who is against, and why they are for, why they are against, and their views of the book. The complete criticism of the book, why they think it is good or bad. I do not ask for your opinion yet because you haven't studied the book yet. So all what we do, this what we call primary investigation of the book. Is this clear?
Yes.
Perfect. So I can give you a break, like let's say 10 minutes before you start working on the activity. Is that okay by you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So please come back after 10 minutes and start right away working on the assignment. It is not graded, but again, as I mentioned, I will have my checklist to to evaluate your work. Are you working? Are you consulting? The quality of your work. And be, of course, prepared to share the information. Of course, you will be presenting it on Word document. You will be speaking about your findings. You will be sharing those findings orally. Okay? So, Rana, I hope you are in the class and listening to what we have, and you need to participate in class 2. No response from Rana. Okay. I'm going to stop recording.